This video is going to look at the main causes of the Reformation. The first cause of the Reformation was surrounding church leaders. The Pope, the head of the Catholic Church, lived in expensive buildings decorated in marble and gold in the city of Rome in Italy. This money could have been used to help the poor and the sick. The Pope ruled like a king over rich lands in Italy, going to war and making deals with other rulers. People thought he was more like a king than a church leader. Other high-ranking churchmen also had great wealth and power. The cardinals and bishops helped the Pope to rule the church. Some parish priests who ran each local church community were as poor and uneducated as the villagers or townspeople that they served. The next cause is to do with relics, statues, and pictures. Many churches and monasteries had relics which they charged people money to see or touch, which made the churches and monasteries very rich. These were objects said to be connected with Christ or the saints. The church said these relics might solve their problems and gain forgiveness for their sins. Often, people thought that these pictures and statues had magic powers. The next cause is to do with Bibles. Bibles in the Catholic Church were in the Roman language of Latin, and much of the story of the Bible was not properly understood. The Bible had been translated from an earlier and more accurate Greek version, and many scholars thought that the Catholic Latin version of the Bible was full of mistakes, which changed the meanings of the words and how worship should be carried out. The next cause is about services. Services in the Catholic Church were in the Roman language of Latin also, and much of what went on in church was not properly understood. The central service, the Mass, when bread and wine was consecrated or made holy, took place at the altar at the east end of the church. This was screened off from the congregation by a rood screen, so you couldn't see or hear what was going on. The priest wore specially decorated clothes or vestments, and incense was often burnt, so ordinary people found the whole service rather like taking part in a magic spell. The final cause is about purgatory and indulgences. The church taught that people who had died had to go to purgatory, a waiting area where spirits of the dead would suffer before they could get into heaven. However, reformers argued that it's not mentioned in the Bible. The church offered ways in which your time in purgatory could be shortened, such as by doing penance, an action to show they are sorry, such as prayer or a punishment. One of the main ways to earn forgiveness was to buy indulgences for themselves or their friends and relatives. These were written promises of forgiveness issued by the Pope and sold by churchmen. Much of the money from the sale of indulgences did not go to help the poor and sick or pay priests. Instead, it went to Rome for the building of the Pope's great church called St. Peter's. So to recap, the causes of the Reformation can be split into leaders, relics, statues and pictures, Bibles, services, and purgatory and indulgences.